Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fireside Chat number 56. I am joined by the ladies with Phillip Davies, or better known as the Liberty Bells. They are essentially British honey badgers. That's what I think, anyway. So, welcome to the show, guys, or ladies. I don't know. I'll say guys. I think that's gender neutral. I'm going to go with that. Welcome to the show, and let me go through quickly and introduce each one of you so that the people watching get an idea of who we're talking to. So, Catherine, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name's Catherine, and I've been female fed up with feminism as a blogger for the past 5 years. I haven't been the most prolific blogger, though, and I've been female fed up with on Twitter. And the whole crazy new social justice wave coincided with me getting married and having my kids, so I haven't done as much as I would like to do. But I'm very happy to be here.
All right. Well, welcome to the call, Catherine. And now Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I am a mother as well. In fact, we're all mothers and ladies to Phillip Davies. And the Liberty Bells. I have been on the show before talking about various things such as my intactivism, because I gave a speech not so long ago against circumcision. I am AntiFembot at AntiFembot on Twitter. I've got a blog and busy with Ladies of Phillip Davies recently.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Elizabeth. And we have Natty. Can I call you that?
Yeah, call me Natty.
Okay. All right, Natty, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Natty, aka Natoya. I guess I'm kind of new to the scene. These girls have been around a bit longer. But I got involved really because I started helping Erin Pizzi because she wants to set up a foundation. And at the moment, she's off in America writing a book, which I'm sure we'll hear about in the future. And I just thought to myself, well, I'm involved now. I've been pissed off with feminism, and I've got huge empathy for men and the men's rights cause for a long time. So what can I do? And I got involved with these girls, and now we are Liberty Bells and also Ladies Phillip Davies. And also I'm a mum. I've got a baby of 17 months too.
I actually had the pleasure of meeting Natty at the last ICMI in London. She was, I guess you were kind of helping Erin Pizzi out at the time, correct? Or
yeah, I would have gone to the conference anyway. But I at the time I was running her site and doing her social media. And I came along with my baby. So yeah, we had a great chat.
Yeah, it was a good time. And then, and then lastly, we have Paula Wright. Hello, Paula. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a mum. A mum of a upstairs at the moment playing Zelda. You might hear some very annoying shout at some point during because I think he's going through a bit of a hard bit anyway. But I've been, I was studying feminism back 10 years ago at university as an undergrad, and I kind of as I was digging into the actual stats on rape, I realized that rape crisis in Fawcett were misrepresenting the rape statistics, and couldn't really work out why or what kind of ethical standing they had to do that, and that was kind of, as Matty would say, my kind of. And I kind of realised that feminism was a fraud.
One thing that jumps out at me right off the bat is that you guys are all mothers. And I wonder, and maybe you've given this some thought, I don't know, but do you think that being a mother and to children is one of the things that got you thinking about this whole, I guess, anti-feminist point of view? And also, are your children, you have boys? That's also kind of important. Anybody, whoever wants to talk to it.
Natty's you've got a girl. Natty.
I've got a girl. Yeah, actually, thinking about it, I've got a girl and Belinda's got a girl, but everyone else has got boys. So, yeah, I mean, I started delving deep into this stuff before my baby was born, because she's only 17 months. However, I think it's becoming even more important to get involved and to take action, purely because I just want the world to be a better place for when my children are older, because I would like to have more.
Yeah.
And I think it applies to both, whether they're boys or girls. But I have to admit that when I was pregnant, I did have a preference for a boy, and that was purely because I felt that it would be easier to explain this stuff to him than it would be to a girl. And I wonder if I'll admit that to her in the future. I don't know. But I just feel like it's going to be more of a challenge, and that's a kind of a good thing. It's always good to challenge yourself, but I feel like when a boy will understand the discrimination that happens against them, even the ones that are sympathetic to feminism and sympathetic to kind of traditional ways and gynocentrism, they will still understand it clearer and more quicker than girls will, I think. I think there is a connection, though, to do with me having a child and the stance I have now about feminism and men's rights. I was exploring it before, but looking into this stuff, it made me prioritize having a family and being more confident in proclaiming that that's what I wanted, and that I wanted to become a wife and a mother. When I was looking into this stuff, I remember thinking to myself when I was at university, you know, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go and work and have my career, and then, you know, blah, 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 and it's all going to be great. And then, you know, suddenly, somehow I'm going to find the perfect man and all this bullshit. And like, I remember thinking to myself at some point, this is all a fantasy, and some of it can come true, but with the caveats of, you know, the real world involved in that. And so it did help me clarify what I wanted, and it did actually give me the confidence to then go out there and find what I wanted and work on myself. Because I think when you're a younger woman and you're under this haze of feminist influence from all sides, you know, from your parents, your peers, from everyone, from culture, just admitting, I found that you do, but actually I'd quite like to have a family quite soon. I'd quite like to do these things that are deemed traditionally feminine, so I do think it helped me get that stuff quicker, or at least be more confident in getting it. So I think there is a link with it for me. I don't know about what the other girls think.
Yeah, I was gonna, if I could.
Oh yes, come on.
Yeah, go on.
I don't think kind of being a mother has changed my mind about it. I was just following the evidence, really, but I think what the evidence has led me over the last 10 years is that young women are cannon fodder for feminists. They chew them up. They want to you know, infiltrate their brains, and as young as they possibly can, when they're in their primes, you know, when they basically are, you know, should be just going out and finding partners and having babies, but then they spit them out in their 30s to end up, you know, doing it with the when they find that they're not fertile anymore. And how many feminists are coming out now and saying that they regret feminists and not having children, and so I think it's just as important that young women understand that they're being used for an ideology, just in the same way that, you know, young men are used by ideologies, you know, as cannon fodder. It's exactly the same.
It's just as unhelpful to teach boys that they are oppressors as it is to teach girls that they are oppressed. And I don't see any point. I think feminists and feminism waste a lot of time on these debates of who has it worse, and because that's the game that they play, that's the game we have to play. We have to have that debate with them, and I feel like it's such a waste of time, and I resent it so deeply, having to have this competition of who has it worse, because it's a pointless discussion.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's a waste of time. And
their side, I'm sorry, their side is always trying to make it into
that competition.
A contest where it's just people saying boys also have problems. Can we look at them? They say, "Oh, you're trying to say that it's worse? It's not worse." And here's a bunch of, data, cherry pick statistics or whatever. And it's like, no. Can we acknowledge that there are problems that are human problems? And one of the things that feminism does to spectacular effect, despite how wrong it is they take problems that are just human problems and they make them into gendered problems.
For example, in countries that are war torn, they'll say, "Oh, women are getting raped and girls are getting raped," and it's like, well, yes, boys are getting killed. If the problem is not gender, the solution to that is not to erase gender. The solution to that is to stop the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, with this male suicide thing, so I did have a friend who committed suicide who was male. And I feel like everyone's like, the problem is gender. If you look at these statistics, men are committing more suicide. The problem is gender. The problem is not gender.
Right.
There are other factors. Maybe there's some interventions that will work better with men and some that will work better with women. But the solution is not to erase gender. I mean, it's just crazy. I guess I'm probably, out of all of us, the person that's I don't know, I think I'm probably more plugged into the internet, YouTube, Gamergate side, probably. I mean, I think maybe Elizabeth...
Are you a Gamergate supporter?
Whoops. My story about Gamergate is that, so in the summer of 2014, I found out, I was pregnant, and I was so sick. I basically lay in my bed for 4 months with my laptop across my belly, listening to everything about Gamergate, and I was like worried that my son was going to think Sargon of Akkad was his father. Like, seriously. And I was so excited by Gamergate, because before, I think for me that was the big watershed moment, because until then, what we do, and this was not cool. This was just dangerous and horrible, and you were just in so much danger. I was totally anonymous in those days, because they would come after you, and there wasn't so much of a community to kind of expose what was being done to people who were being targeted. So I think I'm probably the most kind of internet-y person, and I've always been a bit like, where are the English honey badgers? So finally, about 3 or 4 years later, I invited a bunch of ladies together to have dinner in London.
Mm-hmm.
Paula was not there, but she was in Yorkshire.
Northumberland.
Sorry, Northumberland.
Yeah, Yorkshire's Midlands to me.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, that was kind of my idea, to kind of bring everyone together. But I think since we came together, I haven't been the most active person. So yeah, it was my idea.
So you're the one that the mastermind behind this whole Liberty Bells thing, yes?
My evil plan.
Yes. So what's the difference between the Liberty Bells and Ladies for Phillip Davies? Or is it basically the same idea?
Okay. Well, I came up with the idea of Ladies for Phillip Davies as a sub-campaign. So the idea is that Liberty Bells is a content brand, like Honey Badgers, in the sense that there's 5 of us, and we all talk about similar things, but we all do in various different ways, and doing different, involved in this stuff in different ways. And so we wanted to talk about feminism, but we don't necessarily think that Liberty Bells will just be about feminism entirely, because as you guys were just talking about postmodernism, there's a wider culture war going on, which we're all interested in. Mm-hmm. And we're also interested in, attacking the ideas that aren't really, that are ignored in the mainstream. And we don't think that there are many women in the UK who were doing this. So we just thought there was a gap in the market, basically, and that's why we call ourselves Liberty Bells rather than something particularly feminist related. But I think feminism is a huge issue at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's why I came up with this Phillip Davies idea, because he's called a misogynist and a national disgrace, and he gets abused on a daily basis by various people, and no one sticks up for him. And I just was disgusted by it. I thought it would be a good idea to set up this pressure group. And also, I have to admit, all the other girls have made lovely videos, and they've got great presentations because they're all like really good writers. And I've sat down to try and do the same many times and completely flopped and failed. So I was just like, what am I going to do? This is my idea. Let's do this. So, yeah, it's partly that too.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Black Lives Matter, if you go to the Black Lives Matter website, it is a feminist website first. The Black Lives stuff is just a way...
Yeah, it was made by like 2 lesbian feminists, wasn't it?
Yeah, they started the whole thing, and the entire narrative around Black Lives Matter exists as a tool for ultimately what is feminist goals, which ultimately are financial, political power grabs. They don't have much to do with, actually caring about Black lives. The fact that when you go to the website, the focus of Black Lives Matter is on the lives of Black women or women of color and LGBT folks of color over men of color, who are the men that were dying. Like when there were men that were being killed, whether it was justified or not, in many cases it was, but that doesn't matter. It was used, the deaths of those men were used to create the political movement, Black Lives Matter.
AntiFa as well.
Yes.
AntiFa is a feminist
oh, absolutely.
organization. And it's the women, the men are just there to the women go into the fight, and the men are just there to make sure the women don't get killed.
Mm-hmm. But BAMF was...
And they get the sex. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. And that BAMN, BAMN, by any means necessary, same thing.
Recently did a video on that.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And what's actually kind of surprising, I don't know if Sargon caught this, but I wonder if he caught how because I know he points out that it's run by women, but I wonder if he recognizes the gender dynamic and the power that women have over men to be able to do that. And what I think is, it's a very good, strong example of male mother need, gynocentrism, that kind of thing.
I think anyone in that intersectional space, it's going to be, the men are just going to have to defer to the women, because that's the nature of these intersectional theories. You sit down and you shut up, depending on how low you are in the intersectional kind of pecking order, I guess.
Yeah. So I just thought that was really interesting, and I would say that when it comes to the silent majority, this is the crux of what I'm getting at. In America, the voters came and they spoke with their votes, and I think that they got tired of this narrative and this cloud that was created by the entertainment industry, by academia, by politicians, by all of those things. And I think that the same thing can be done with you guys in the UK. I think that there's probably people that are really getting tired of all the virtue signaling, of all the spin, and we're going to go into one of the articles here.
Well, I mean, can I just say that kind of story with Brexit, so in a way that has kind of happened already.
That's true. Catherine, can we see that mug?
Oh, yes, you may.
Yeah.
I'll
That means semen.
I'll tell you one thing that did change after becoming a mum. When they talk about the male tears joke, that is my son's tears they're talking about.
That's right. Made into a human being.
So they can go and shove that where the sun don't shine, that nastiness. Thank you very much, because that's my son you're talking about there.